Good evening. I'm your host, Modesty, and welcome to the Celebrity Spotlight Live Talk Show, where we take you beyond the lights, the cameras, and the action of celebs, authors, actors, radio hosts, businessmen and businesswomen, and other noteworthy professionals. For the last several weeks, we have conducted Boss Lady Tuesday, and it concluded on last week. This week, the Celebrity Spotlight Live Talk Show presents Conversations for Adult Situations. Tonight, our distinguished guests are the hosts of Married Men Don't Talk. It's a very popular talk show that started out on Sirius Satellite Radio, and now they formed a partnership with WDJY 99.1 FM. Married Men Don't Talk is hosted by Tony Hawkins, who is the CEO, Rodney Turner, and Darren Smith. Two of the hosts are with us tonight, and we are elated to have them. Now, although the title of their talk show is called Married Men Don't Talk, these two gentlemen love to talk about everything. About everything from love to raising children to politics and you name it. Welcome, and how are you this evening, Rodney and Darren?
Great, ma'am. How you doing?
Yeah,
I'm
glad to be here.
Good. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be our guest. Tonight's topic is I call it Eminem. It's about money and marriage and fame from a celebrity perspective. And what encouraged me or provoked me to make this the topic tonight is this scenario. You're familiar with Idris Elba, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, a few weeks ago, a mysterious woman to the public, her name was Sonia Hamlin, she stated in several articles that she was Idris Elba's ex-wife that no one really knew about. In 2006, they had gotten married. And they went to Las Vegas for the Floyd Mayweather and the Zab Judah fight. And, you know, they just stayed there, had a good time with friends, and then they just decided to get married. They had been dating, I guess, for a little while. She never states how long. But then, after they got married, Idris was an actor, and he started getting a lot of offers. He started getting a lot of movie offers, and I'm sure the phone was ringing off the hook, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she said after 6 weeks of being married, I'm not laughing because they got a divorce, but I'm laughing because it's like unbelievable. After 6 weeks of marriage, for the sake of his career, he asked her for a divorce. Now, they were madly, as she states, madly in love. He was getting ready to do The Wire as well when they had been married. And she feels as though many of his friends, someone got into his ear and told him that marriage would not be a good look for him because, you know, being a sex symbol is a plus, you know, especially in the entertainment business when you're an actor. So they got a divorce after being married only after 6 weeks of marriage. Now, this is where you two come in. My question to you, and Rodney, you can go first, and then you, Darren, is this. When should marriage, love, not love and marriage. When is there ever a time, this is what I want to say, is there ever a time when love should trump fame and money? Or should money and fame trump love? That's the question.
Yeah, I'll go first, and this is Rodney. And again, thank you for having us, Modesty.
Yes,
I think it really depends on the individual. You know, obviously Idris, you know, had an attempt at fame, and that's what he was. You know, he had that opportunity, and he felt that, you know, being married may have held him back. So I mean, that's what he chose. So I really think that it really depends on that individual. And as far as what decision they make, you know, whether they choose love or fame, and, you know, lots of individuals choose differently. I mean, you look on the flip side, Denzel Washington, who, you know, lots of ladies say is a sex symbol as well. and he's been married over 20 years, and on the flipping the gender a little bit, Angela Bassett, she's been married successfully for a couple of decades as well, as far as my knowledge. So I think you can do both, but it just really depends on the individual.
Okay, go ahead, dear.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again for having us on the show.
You're welcome.
As all of us are three individual men, we also have three different mindsets and opinions. Okay. And I believe that love should always trump marriage. Love should always trump fame and money, because once you get the fame and money, you don't know who's with you for who you are. When you're not in that status, I believe that true love will appear. And when the lady said that we were madly in love, I think that was her perspective or her opinion about it, because, from her point of view, she was probably madly in love. His perspective, it was like, look, you miss right now. You're doing everything right. Now, since I got another shot at fame or whatever, then I need to probably do what I need to do in order to get out there. But a lot of times guys don't understand. The other side looks green, but once you start draining yourself and you're trying to find the right woman and you get the wrong one pregnant, now you out of a whole lot of money and a whole lot of fame, and now you in the news a whole lot more than just your your movies.
That's right. You feel like preaching tonight, Rodney. That's right. And it's interesting, because me being a woman, single, and both of you are married, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, now, praise God, praise God. Being a single woman myself, it seemed, I understand, Rodney, what you're saying. You're saying that everyone is different, and Darren said the same thing as well. This seemed, though, kind of cold to me. Now, granted, I was not in the situation, and she never said how long they were dating, but they had a whirlwind romance, as she would call it, and it seemed kind of cold. Again, very important what you said, Darren. Women being the emotional creatures that we are, we sometimes see things totally different, and we're in the same relationship as the person that we are dating.
Yes, ma'am.
A man might say that a woman is, and I hate when men do this, when they've been with someone for 5 or 6 years and they say, she's my friend. But a woman, go ahead, Dawn, you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's us. That's if you want to label us as we're madly in love, if that's going to continue the sex to continue to get more wild and more crazy, you're going to continue to cook every morning and rub my feet and make my bath water, I'm going to say whatever you want me to say. As a man that in that kind of lifestyle. And then you can classify that, or me accepting that, as it's reciprocated when it's really not.
Exactly. That is so true. That is so very true. And like I said, we see things sometimes from a totally different perspective. And what you said was very important, Rodney. Everyone is different. Now, let me ask you this, too. I said that what Idris did seemed to be kind of cold to me after 6 weeks of being married. It leads me to ask the next question. Is it possible, or do you think Las Vegas marriages can last?
Sure. Sure. The same way that justice of the peace marriages last, I think that a lot of times, unfortunately, we as a society, we put a lot of emphasis on, the wedding. Yeah. And, as my wife of 17 years, she always says that anybody can have a wedding and get married. It's all about staying married. So, the reality is that, we have to focus on the actual union and making that work, because, I know that Darren can probably relate to this as well. I've been to some lavish weddings that have been long since been dissolved. So it really, and we actually did a show on that. The topic was, did you plan your marriage before you planned your wedding? Because I think it's just so important. But, again, it goes back to, everybody's different. Folks can have a Las Vegas justice of the peace wedding or what have you, and have longevity and a healthy marriage. And, other folks could have a grand, shindig and be divorced, like in this case, within 6 weeks. So it is what it is.
That's rough. That's a rough it is what it is. That's a very rough it is what it is. Now, she said, now, again, two sides of each story. I don't think Idris has yet to talk because he's still enjoying life. I'll just leave it that way. Okay, I don't think he has responded to what she said. She was an attorney, and she was in her 40s, actually. She's 43 years old, and she was an attorney. And she said that people could see that we were both, again, madly in love. He loved me and I loved him. And when they went to Vegas for the fight, as they was, lounging around or enjoying each other's company, they talked about marriage. But they just decided, you know what? I think it was his idea, as a matter of fact. Let's just go and get married. Boom. And while they were there, who said, Let's just go and get married, and that's what they did. Now, being that, and she was an attorney, and she said he broke her heart to pieces because she wished he would not have allowed people to talk into his ear and to tell him this is not good for you as a sex symbol, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't have the right look, or she's not going to fit, blah, blah, blah. And she even said that he told her, she was doing very well in business as an attorney, and he traveled a lot, and he had a lot of offers, blah, blah, blah. He felt that he did not want to take her out of her space, per se, and have her forfeit or not, turn away from her practice to travel all over the world with him, like 5 or 6 months, 4 to 5 months out of the year, traveling along with him as his wife. So she felt as though that was like an excuse to get out of it. Now, being that they did get the divorce, and he asked her, because she was an attorney, to file the papers. Because she she knew the ins and outs of the law, but what had to happen is they had to get an annul in Las Vegas. They couldn't they had to be separated in the state that they were living in order for them to get a divorce for at least about a year. But what happened is they ended up going to contacting someone, an attorney in Las Vegas, having the marriage annulled because it was only 6 weeks. Now, can his love for her, that's another question. Is it right, or can we judge how much he really did love her if he divorced her in only 6 weeks?
I don't think it's fair for her to give him an excuse of everyone else made him do something. Everyone else was in his ear. That's why he made that decision. You often have women and men. They like to point at the rain instead of the cup of water. And what I'm trying to say is they want to put the blame on someone else and somebody else instead of ignoring the fact that that man might have not been as in love with you as you think he was.
Wow.
If you want to sum it up, say, oh, we were just so in love, he couldn't have done it on his own. We're not stupid. We can play stupid as men, but we're not.
Go ahead and talk.
So it just seems like she's trying to play him like somebody else did it, and instead of him, because he couldn't have done this to me. And that's if the man was using you, he was you. I mean, let me tell you something about fallback plans. If my acting career doesn't make it, I'm going to at least have a woman with some money. Okay? She's a lawyer, right?
Yes,
she's making money, right?
That's right.
Now, he's either going to be making millions or he's going to be making zero.
Right.
You're going to be in the movies or not, or in the sitcoms or not.
Right, that's right.
So it's not guaranteed as an actor, but she guaranteed to get money every single week or every 2 weeks, especially if she become a partner. So I'm going to save this one in the back pocket because it's male gold diggers too. And I'm not saying that's what he is, but it seemed like that he was just she was a just-in-case woman. And she don't want to admit that because she wants to put her fame out there, or she wants to put her I'm a smart woman. Yes, you might be smart, and smart women get taken too. So don't get mad when you get played, and a lot of people get played. They don't believe they can get played.
Talk that talk. Talk that talk. Go ahead, Darren. You chime on in.
No, that was Darren. That's Rodney.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rodney. I'm sorry, Dawn. Go ahead, Rodney.
No, I'm good. I'm just listening. I agree with everything Darren is saying.
And he said something which is very important too, which maybe a lot of people who even read the article may not have taken into effect, may not have taken into consideration is that maybe there's a part of her pride now that Idris is like $1 million. He's making millions of dollars now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're even talking about, although the racist writers don't want him to become the first black Bond, but it's just being noised abroad, on Twitter. He can do it, blah, 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 why not choose him, et cetera. So he is definitely in the money right now. But when you said maybe there's a part of her that is so proud and so prideful, that says he could not have left moi, not me. I'm an attorney. I'm making this kind of money, and she's a nice-looking woman. Okay. Now I'm not saying this because I'm prejudiced or racist or anything like that. She's not. She doesn't have long hair. She's not light-skinned or high yellow. Okay. Brown-skinned woman, nice-looking woman. She looks kind of like from the Caribbean to me. That's the kind of look she has. Beautiful hair, etc. And maybe that could have been her. That might have been her thought. How could he have left me? Because, like I said again, it sounds so cold to leave a person or to want to divorce someone after you were supposedly so madly in love with them, and now there is absolutely nothing. Now,
and Miss Modesty,
go ahead, darling.
And I promise you, if you ask the male, if you ask my man,
right,
the same questions that you asked her, I guarantee his answers will be different. So
I knew you was going to say that. I knew you was going to say that.
It has to be because if he's not going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we were madly in love, and I was madly in love with her," and somebody got in my ear, he's not going to say that. He's going to come up with 1,000 excuses and reasons he wasn't with her or why he didn't choose to stay with her.
Yeah. And she said that's exactly what he did when he said to her he didn't want her to forfeit her career by traveling with him on the road 3 to 4 months out of a year.
And when the real deal is he found him a freak, she was probably another skinned woman, a lighter skin, what he really wanted.
I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't know about that. I think that's a bridge too far.
This is why I'm saying this. Let me say the reason why I'm saying this.
Okay, go ahead.
He's British, right?
Sure enough.
I'm just saying, British men that are black. Well, this is from only the 20 that I know.
Wow. Black
British men desire acceptance from white Britons. So that's their acceptance. That's the code over there. We're in a different culture, okay? Their culture is completely different than ours. So black British to be a black British man to be accepted by a white Briton, white woman.
That's everything.
That's everything.
Wow, that's sad. But go ahead.
But that's true. I mean, you can look it up, the culture. You can look it up online, and you can ask. And I got 20 black Britain people that I know, that I'm personally friends with, and every last one of them say the same thing because they don't want to look at, because over in Great Britain, there's Africans too. So all dark-skinned people are considered Africans, but some dark-skinned people or black people over there are really, really British. So, but they're treated as a culture as black people and beneath the regular class. So if you was to ask someone over there, ask them that question, and I guarantee it'll be the same one.
That is eye-opening. I never knew that.
Yes, ma'am.
I never knew that.
I only knew that because I was in the Navy and I served time over there, so,
from experience. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
thank you for sharing that with me because it helps me to see things from a different perspective. And I can carry that message on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've never seen him particularly with someone Caucasian yet, not saying he hasn't been with,
Right.
so I might have missed it. But most of the women that he has been with in the spotlight, most of them have been African American. But you know what? It's interesting that you said that because there are those of us who are African American have to realize that whether in the United States, in Germany, in Asia, in Alaska, it doesn't matter. If you are browner than a paper bag, you're all going to be treated the same.
Yeah, yeah.
All over the world. No matter how much money you have, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is.
And some people just break up with the woman that they're with because they haven't had another type of experience. And I know a lot of these celebrities, they're with women for fronts, and they're really homosexuals because they don't want the public to see who they really are. So it could be a barrage of things, of reasons why he left her, because you can see it was no outer appearance or outer reason to leave her, so it had to be something different.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Darren. What about the fact that maybe look at it from the standpoint of that maybe there was some legitimacy in why he decided to leave. His career, like you said earlier, I mean, he didn't know that he was going to be the Idris Elba that we know today, just a breakout star. However, he had some irons in the fire. And in the same token, she was a successful lawyer and everything, so, her job was not conducive to being on the road as his wife or whatever, being away from home and being away from her job. So, maybe there was some legitimacy to say, hey, we only been in this thing 6 weeks. Timing is crucial here because he could have said, and like I said, he didn't even know that he was going to blow up. He just know he had these gigs and he had to make these appointments and dates. And so it was probably, his thinking was probably a little bit, less as far as, the growth potential that he actually realized, so, he may look back on that decision and say, hey, that was maybe one of the best decisions of my life, because just imagine if she had, it's six in one hand, bad half a dozen in the other, because if she went on the road with him, quit her job and went on the road with him, that was one option, or she could have stayed back, being Idris Elba's wife, and, with all the groupie love and all that stuff is out there. So the reality is they got divorced in 6 weeks where they could have easily got divorced in 6 years. So he might have just parachuted
Rodney,
out, quick.
He said
I don't think, to be honest, that's just like the answer. I'm in love with you, but I don't love you. Or vice versa. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. You got to come up with a better excuse than, hey, he already knew his schedule was going to be crazy before he married her. But 6 weeks later, you got to come up with a better excuse than that to hold some kind of weight. That's just a sorry excuse to divorce. You're trying to find an excuse to divorce a woman if that's your excuse. You're looking for something.
Well, it's interesting because she did say, she mentioned in the article, with him asking for the divorce, she said that was on top of, I don't know why she said it, she said the wrong timing. She said the wrong timing. Now, why did she say the wrong timing? I don't know, because, again, her thing is we're so in love, and, we had a whirlwind romance, and she was devastated. She was very brokenhearted.
That was this is the easiest way to break up with a woman that you really don't want no more. When I was a sailor, if you wanted to break up with a woman, all you had to do was say, look, I don't know how long I'm going to be gone on the ship. We can't leave. Oh, we had a lot of lies that we could came up with. And they were all
lies. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They were all legit. And he had a legit one too. He just face it, woman, it wasn't what you, from his perspective, he wasn't in love with you like you were in love with him. Swallow your pride. You gave up the booty. You did a whole lot of things for this man that you wouldn't have done for anybody else. You got played. I hate to say it. You don't deserve it, but he played you.
You agree, dear?
Rodney?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm back on I'm stuck on the timing issue, and again, they were just, and going back to your point, Modesty. I wanted to clarify. Who said let's go get married? Did he say that, or did she say that?
I believe from the article that it was. Hold on, I believe it was his idea. They had said they talked about it. And then he said, well, you know what, let's just go and get married.
Interesting.
It is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, again now, I'm sorry, go ahead, dear.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was assuming that, she said it, but go ahead.
Now, okay. Oh, this is great. We have a few more minutes. This is wonderful. I'm so enjoying this conversation with you guys. I'm so glad that you accept it, because you bring such a wonderful dynamic and perspective to an issues like this, because this is serious. It affects people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Now the article said, again, well, it says alleged, I believe, but she has receipts. She even have a picture of the wedding certificate and everything, the marriage certificate, the date when it was clocked, everything, the date they got it. They have his name down there, his full name.
Nobody's questioning that.
Right.
I believe they were married.
Yeah. Yep.
That ain't the question. We know that's real.
That's not the question. We already know it's real. You don't have to, right? But the thing is, it no longer is. So it's interesting why she would bring it up even now, because this happened like recently, and she was like, she came out as like the wife that people never knew that he had.
Do you remember what happened to Kobe Bryant?
When that rape situation?
No, he was going to marry his high school sweetheart. He was supposed to marry this girl. He was so in love with her. She stuck with him through thick and thin. She was with each other. He was an army brat or, a military brat. And his high school sweetheart, he didn't even say, we're broken up. She found out that they was broke up on the day he was engaged to his wife that he's with now.
Wow.
Look that up. So you got to wonder, wait a minute, my options as a nobody are real slim. But when I'm a somebody, I got a whole lot more options.
You preaching right now. I'm going to send you an offer and give me your address. You preaching right about now. That is so true. And when men have, the more money you have, well, they say the more problems you have too. But like you said, the options are limitless. And some men really don't know what to do, I would say, in a world where they can do whatever they want to do.
And he never got to explore that yet either? Oh, yeah. You're going to have to be on the shelf. I'll be back if you're the right one.
Okay. And the last thing I want to say is this, or present to you is this, because we have 2 more minutes left. Wow, time went fast. Is this, should a man get out of his system? It's practically an easy question. All of the playing, or is there such a thing as getting out of his system all of the playing before he does decide to get married? And lastly, is there a particular age where a man should start looking into, I would say, settling down? Or age is just a number. It all depends on maturity.
Yeah, I'll take the latter one, because I got married at 21. And
okay, wow.
It just depends on the man, and I would say that's not the norm. A lot of men are not mature enough to handle the responsibilities of being the head of household and being married at that young age. So, but it's not impossible. I mean, you look at Steph Curry. He got married I think at 23, 24. And I agree with Steph. It's like when you find the right one, which we both did. It's like why play around?
Exactly.
What is the point? But at the same token, there are some men, to your question, that feel they absolutely do need to play around, and get it out of their system. So it just really depends on, the individual. It just goes back to the individual man. But, I don't want to generalize and say all men, need to get that play out of their system, because some men don't have that play in their system.
That's excellent. I like what you just said. That is profound right there. Okay, love, go ahead.
No, I just think that men, they just, there's no such thing as getting out of their system nowadays. The women are so plentiful, but it's just they can do whatever they want to do, it seems like. So it's no limit for men in age or sex. So it's better, since all these diseases are out here, it's better for a man to take one woman and just settle down with her, because he don't want to get caught up in no mess, and have no disease mess up his body. So
exactly, or get caught up in a track.
Right.
Wow. Well, Rodney and Darren, you have no idea how much we thank you. I thank you for your contribution tonight.
Yeah,
hold on one second, please.
Mm-hmm.